Swadika, and thank you for joining us for the evening edition of NBT World Brief right here on NBT and NBT World. You're with me, Tra Chirakaosan. The government is committed to the rule of law as a foundational principle for justice, social stability, and national competitiveness. In a keynote address at the Thailand Institute for Justice, Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul emphasized that fairness must apply equally to all citizens and should not be reserved for the privileged few. The public forum was organized to encourage open participation in shaping the future of the justice system and to promote the rule of law as a national agenda. Drawing from his background in engineering, the Prime Minister likened justice to the deep foundations that support a stable structure, calling it a central pillar for a peaceful society. He noted that his own success has stemmed from a consistent respect for legal principles. As a head of government, he pledged to refrain from using political power to favor any individuals and insisted on allowing all legal processes to proceed independently without interference. The Premier reiterated that his administration's policy is to strictly uphold the law, decisively tackle corruption, and prevent the misuse of state power for political purposes in order to boost public and international confidence. While acknowledging that institutional reform is a long-term effort, he expressed confidence that his government's 4-month term will not be wasted. He stated that this period will be used to lay the foundation and create a roadmap for lasting change for future governments to build upon. The World Bank has raised concerns over economic volatility and its impact on employment across East Asia and the Pacific, citing weakening global trade, geopolitical tensions, and a decline in new business formation. Aditya Mathu, the bank's chief economist for the region, stated that these challenges are creating significant headwinds for job creation and economic stability. According to the World Bank's October 2025 economic outlook, the region's growth is projected to slow to 4.8% this year, down from 5% in 2024. Vietnam is expected to post the strongest performance at 6.6%, while China, Cambodia, and Indonesia are each forecast to grow at 4.8%. Thailand, however, is projected to grow by only 2%, reflecting domestic challenges. Mathu noted that while the inflation remains a risk for the region, countries like Thailand and China are also vulnerable to deflation. In response, Thailand has maintained a loose monetary policy, lowering interest rates to stimulate inflation and protect growth. The World Bank also warned that employment could face further pressure as automation and artificial intelligence replace traditional jobs, especially in manufacturing. With most future jobs expected to come for new businesses, the decline in startups is a worrying sign. For Thailand, the bank stated that structural reforms in labor, science-focused education, and reintegration of informal workers are essential to meet future economic challenges. The Stock Exchange of Thailand, or SET, believes the Thai stock market still has an opportunity to recover in the remaining months of 2025, supported by both domestic and international factors. Sorapon Tuliyasatien, Senior Executive Vice President at SET, stated that the U.S. government shutdown is expected to have only a limited impact on the SET index. However, he noted that broader concerns about the U.S. economy have led investors to seek safe haven assets, pushing gold prices to historic highs. A key international factor supporting a potential recovery is the possible easing of interest rates by the U.S. Federal Reserve, which could trigger capital inflows into Asian markets, including Thailand. Domestically, the government's economic stimulus measures are expected to bolster the market. This includes the 44 billion baht Kola Kring Plus co-payment scheme, which is anticipated to benefit listed companies in the consumer sector. Furthermore, the government has begun to implement clearer investment policies and has established a communications team to promote Thailand to international investors. While the outlook is cautiously optimistic, The set noted that several risks require close monitoring. These include the future direction of U.S. interest rates, exchange rate volatility, and Thailand's persistently high household debt levels. UTHAI THANI province has held its grand and unique THEWO ceremony with 500 monks descending a mountain to receive alms to mark the end of Buddhist Lent. Provinces across Thailand have held THEWO almsgiving ceremonies to mark the end of Buddhist Lent, with the grandest and most unique tradition taking place in UTHAI THANI province. The event, presided over by Minister of Culture Sabida Thaiset, saw 500 monks descend the 449 steps from Sakya Krang Mountain to the courtyard of Wat Sangkat Ratanakiri. Large crowds of residents and tourists gathered to offer alms of dry food and khao tom luk yon, a traditional rice snack. The festival also featured a beautiful procession of Buddha images and a rare annual exhibition of intricately decorated ivory altar tables, which are displayed to the public only once a year for this occasion. In Rayong province, a similar ceremony was held at Wat Kiri Pawanaram, where a procession of people dressed as celestial beings led 50 monks down a hill to receive offerings from the public. The director of the Tourism Authority of Thailand's Rayong office, Wandi Phuen Udom, stated that the temple is poised to become a new key destination for faith-based tourism. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said earlier today that Europe must ramp up its defenses to deter what she called Russia's hybrid warfare. In a speech to EU lawmakers, she described a series of air incursions, cyber attacks, and damage to undersea cables not as random harassment, but as a coherent and escalating campaign against Europe. Recent incidents include Russian air incursions rattling Poland, Estonia, and Romania, and unidentified drones being spotted over Denmark, Germany, and Belgium. In response to Moscow's war in Ukraine and doubts over U.S. support, European countries have already increased defense spending to post-Cold War highs. EU leaders will seek to agree on a roadmap with concrete milestones to ward off threats from Russia at a summit later this month. And that wraps up our evening edition of NBT World Brief. Stay updated with the latest developments right here on NBT and NBT World. For more stories, simply scan the QR code on your screen to access our full coverage across all media platforms. Until next time, I'm Tra Chirakosan. สวัสดีค่ะ